Hello there, YouTube. It is I, your unfriendly neighborhood Skeletor. Now, my friends, there's been a number of you out there in the comments who've been nagging Skeletor to react to this new Chippendales film. Now, at first I was like, why? What do I, Skeletor, have anything to do with Chippendale? A couple of Disney rodents. Until I found out that apparently there was some cameo appearance by me. Well, not exactly me, my cartoon self. And apparently He-Man is there as well. Now what I'm probably going to do is watch the film, pause it, come do my reaction, and then watch the rest of the film, and I'll give you a mini review at the end of it. Tell you what I thought. Alright, so without further ado, let's watch this thing, shall we? I'm kind of excited to see this. Been a long time since I've seen the 80s version of me, voiced by Oppenheimer. I can't wait. Remember, that's just my cartoon self. That's Skeletor from a whole different dimension. Yeah. Anyway, let's watch this, shall we?
How did they know we're here? I'm guessing your social media posts at the police station? Oops.
Look at that. Already, I recognize those feet. Although if I was Chippendale, I wouldn't want to be under there. Not even because of He-Man. I'm pretty sure he's well groomed. I, Skeletor, on the other hand, not a fan of showers. There's no way the smell under there could be pleasant, that's for sure. The rescue rangers are going to need rescuing from Skeletor's foot odor.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Hey, there's something down there.
There's nothing.
So Oppenheimer is doing the voice for He-Man as well? I wonder if this is a dream for Oppenheimer. He's like, I've always wanted to be He-Man. This is the first time I get to be. Look at that fool. Scared of mice.
Down there, you boob.
You boob. Oh, how I missed you, Oppenheimer. I can't believe they actually managed to get me to sit there next to He-Man to begin with, signing autographs. I must have been desperate.
Around with no pants long enough to just start to notice every breeze. Gotcha.
What was I saying? I couldn't make that out. Seth Rogen's voice was getting in my way. Shut up, Seth Rogen. And I really mean it. Shut up. I want to rewatch that. Let's rewatch it.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Hey, there's something down there. There's nothing down there, you boob. You walk around with no pants long enough to just start to notice every breeze.
Ah, okay. Now I understand what he said. You walk around with no pants on. You start to notice every breeze. I think it was something like that. Yeah, it's funny that Skeletor is talking about He-Man not wearing any pants. We both don't wear pants. Well, except for I lost the sensitivity a long time ago. I'm pretty sure He-Man's extra sensitive to things. Well, it's interesting to find out that after all these years, that my cartoon version of me and He-Man have become chums. We should get our own series, The Odd Couple. Mattel, let's make that happen. Skeletor and He-Man, The Odd Couple. We live together in a studio apartment above a Chinese restaurant. And we get into all kinds of shenanigans. But that was actually really cool to see. I really want to see more of Skeletor and He-Man together. Not sure why Oppenheimer opted for He-Man to sound like Cringer. To me, that's what he sounded like. Maybe one day I can be fortunate enough to interview Oppenheimer. If anybody knows Oppenheimer, let him know that Skeletor would love to have an interview with him. So I'm going to stop here, go finish watching the rest of the film, and then come back for my mini review. Okay. I finished watching it, and so this is what I have to say about this film. Now, to be perfectly honest, I, Skeletor, have never been an actual fan of Chippendale. I was actually more of a Alvin and the Chipmunks fan. But what did I think of the film? Now, admittedly, I had seen the trailer before, and I wasn't looking forward to it. Right away, the big red flag for me was the voices. I'm like, why couldn't they have just gotten chipmunk voices for them? Why do they have to do these regular Joe Schmo voices? But actually, having watched the film, I realized that it actually worked. And they did actually give a reason for why the voice changed. They were just putting on the voice for the television series. Now, like I said before, since I wasn't exactly a Chippendale fan, in fact, out of all of those Disney cartoons of the time, the only one that I actually really liked was Darkwing Duck.
What?
That was my favorite one.
You and your stories.
I didn't mind Scrooge McDuck because he was evil.
And any jackanapes who thinks else should be boiled in his own pudding.
But then he turned do-gooder on that series, which disappointed me. I liked him better when he was Scrooge. Not Papa McDuck. So going into this, I really had nothing emotionally invested in this. So I can understand if you were a big fan of Chip and Dale growing up and you're like, I can't wait to see my characters on the screen as I remember them, I can understand you being disappointed with this. But from an outsider looking in, I actually enjoyed this. I actually like the fact that they didn't go for a straight up reboot or a recreation or whatever. I actually like the meta aspect of this, that Chip and Dale's was nothing but a series from the 90s, that they broke up the band, went their separate ways due to creative differences, only to reconnect years later and solve a real crime this time, becoming the real Rescue Rangers. I thought it was a really interesting premise and a nice twist that I'll actually really enjoy. I've often thought a lot of times, instead of rebooting old franchises, that they should add a little twist or a spin to it, so that's not to offend the canon, but make it sort of a tongue-in-cheek version that we can all sort of enjoy. Hell, Skeletor himself is kind of like that. One thing I was wondering about this film, I wondered if it was set in the same universe as Roger Rabbit, because it really felt like Roger Rabbit, and they kept calling each other Toons. And like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, there was also a mishmash of multiple different cartoons. It wasn't just Disney cartoons. A lot of cameo appearances from South Park or Beavis and Butthead. There was a lot. I think Voltron was there. You saw He-man and we were there, and those parts were extremely fun as well. I do think that it was overdone, however. This concept of having a lot of cameo appearances from other IPs is starting to get played out. We saw it in Free Guy, we saw it in Lego Movie, we saw it done to death in Ready Player One. And so, after seeing all that, it wasn't quite as special as it probably could have been had it been an original idea. I will say that there was one character in it that was an actual surprise, other than yours truly, that I actually thought was genius. Without giving away any spoilers, there was a really fun inclusion in this film, which I thought was also quite meta and quite hilarious. I thought the film was fun. It was funny. I did really enjoy the comedy in the film. There were a few things I did not like. Some of the acting was kind of subpar. Mulaney wasn't the greatest. The guy who did, I think, Chip, I don't remember. I thought whoever played the female police officer, I don't know. I think she was also kind of just sort of meh. But I think my biggest disappointment, however, I was not a big fan of the villain. Now, this is going to be a spoiler for those who may not want to know who I'm talking about. I'm giving you time to shut down if you don't want to know who the villain was. 4, 3, 2, 1. Now, the villain was a grown-up Peter Pan. Now, I'm not a big fan of this because this is another thing that Disney likes to do where they like to insult their audience, which I don't understand why they keep doing it, in my opinion. Basically, Peter Pan plays like a 40 or 50-year-old grown-up who's now surly and angry and wants revenge on Hollywood for dumping him. To me, I felt this was like a backhanded attack at hardcore fans who they claim don't ever want to grow up. While I wasn't extremely angry about it, I will say it was kind of annoying. I mean, come on! If it wasn't for 40-year-old man babies, these reboots wouldn't make a dime. So stop insulting your audience. But I will say that one thing I did like, however, I did like the storyline about him and a bunch of other cartoons bootlegging Disney properties, because that's something that really does happen, and it's pretty hilarious that they included it. Another part I also thought was pretty hilarious, toon alterations. They could get surgery and go from a normal two-dimensional cartoon to the 3D upgrade. I thought that was hilarious. All in all, I actually did like this film. It wasn't perfect, but I did enjoy it. And I, Skeletor, do recommend you watch it. And I actually think that in the future, other properties should take notice of this. If you're going to use other franchises, do something creative like this. Keep it non-canonical. You can still get away with using the property and sell more t-shirts and toys, but doing it in a more clever and fun way without touching the original. Anyway, that's what I thought of the film. Skeletor gives it, all in all, because I'm a hard grader, I guess. In my I didn't hate it meter, from 1 to 10, I give it a 6. And for me, a 6 is good. It takes a lot to get to 10. So, 6, 6.5, I will say I give this film. As for that He-Man part, it was hilarious. It was extremely fun to watch Oppenheimer voicing the character once again. But what did you all think? Would you like to see Skeletor interview Alan Oppenheimer? Now, of course, I would love to do it. I have no idea how I would do it, but I would love to do it. Also, he's 90 years old, so maybe he wouldn't want to come on with Skeletor. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. Now, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Theology. Until next time.